Imagine you are walking outside on a normal day. The world feels familiar, safe, and predictable. You might be heading to work, meeting a friend, or simply enjoying the fresh air. Everything seems perfectly ordinary. The sun is shining, birds are singing, and everything feels steady. The gentle breeze rustles the leaves and life moves at its usual pace. It's the kind of day where nothing seems out of place, and you have no reason to expect anything unusual. Suddenly, without warning, the ground beneath your feet shudders. It's as if the entire planet has hiccuped, sending a ripple of confusion and fear through everyone around you. The world groans with a deep, strange sound. It's a noise you've never heard before, an unsettling primal rumble that seems to come from the very core of the earth itself. Then, everything that isn't bolted down, and a lot that is, begins to fly sideways at incredible speeds. Cars, trees, even entire buildings are suddenly swept away, as if caught in a massive invisible current. This is the day Earth stops spinning, not slows down, not gently comes to a halt, but stops all at once, like a car hitting a brick wall. The suddenness is unimaginable, and the consequences are immediate and catastrophic. In a split second, the world as we know it changes forever. The familiar landscape is transformed into chaos, and nothing will ever be the same again. The air, the water, the land, and everything on it keeps moving, but the planet itself is still. The atmosphere and oceans, once in sync with the spinning Earth, now surge violently over the surface, creating unimaginable destruction. Most people would have no idea what was happening until it was too late. In those first moments, confusion reigns. People look to the sky, to their phones, to each other, searching for answers that simply don't exist. There would be no warning, no sirens, no chance to get to safety. The disaster would strike with such speed and force that even the most advanced warning systems would be useless. For a moment, it would seem like the laws of physics themselves had broken. Gravity, inertia, and everything we take for granted would suddenly feel alien and unpredictable. This is not just another science fiction story. It's a scenario that challenges our understanding of the world and forces us to confront the delicate balance that keeps everything in motion. It is a thought experiment, a way to understand how our planet works and how much we depend on its gentle, constant spin, even though we never feel it. Without this invisible motion, life as we know it simply couldn't exist. The next time you step outside, remember, the world is always moving, even if you can't feel it. You might not realize it, but every moment of your life, you are part of an incredible journey, one that happens so smoothly, you never even notice. Right now, as you sit, stand, or walk, you are actually moving at an astonishing speed, carried along by the very ground beneath your feet. Earth spins on its axis once every 24 hours, completing a full rotation as we go about our daily routines. At the equator, this means you are traveling about 1,670 kilometers, over 1,000 miles, per hour. That's faster than most race cars, and even faster than the speed of sound in some conditions. In other words, you are moving faster than a commercial jet, just by sitting still in your chair, reading, or watching this video. We don't feel this incredible speed because everything around us, our homes, our cities, even the air we breathe, is spinning at exactly the same rate. The ground beneath us, the swirling air above, and the vast oceans all move together in perfect harmony. Even the tallest skyscrapers and the smallest pebbles are swept along, locked into this cosmic dance. It's a bit like riding in a smooth airplane. You don't notice the speed until something changes. If the plane suddenly stopped, you'd feel it instantly. This invisible motion is powerful. It shapes our weather, drives the winds, and gives us the cycle of day and night that we depend on. It even causes the Earth to bulge slightly at the equator, making our planet not a perfect sphere, but an oblate one. We are so used to living on this spinning top that we forget it's happening at all, simply because the spin never changes speed. But if Earth suddenly stopped spinning, all that built up speed and energy would have to go somewhere and the results would be catastrophic. That's when the real danger begins. Not from slowing down gently, but from the unimaginable force of a sudden stop. It's a reminder of just how dynamic and fragile our spinning world really is. When Earth stops, inertia takes over. This is the moment when the unimaginable begins, and the laws of physics become our worst enemy. Inertia is the rule that says, things in motion stay in motion unless something stops them. It's why you lurch forward in a car when it brakes suddenly, but now imagine that on a planetary scale. So, while the ground stops instantly, everything on the surface, oceans, buildings, people, and even the atmosphere, keeps moving eastward at up to 1,670 kilometers per hour, the speed of Earth's rotation at the equator. People, cars, houses, and even the air itself are suddenly swept away, hurtling across the landscape with unstoppable force. Skyscrapers and tall buildings designed to withstand earthquakes are no match for this. They tumble and collapse as the ground moves out from under them, shattering into debris. Trees, animals, and anything not anchored deep into bedrock become deadly projectiles flying through the air at incredible speeds, smashing into anything in their path. Imagine a world where every car, bus and train crashes at the speed of a jet. There would be no time to react, no chance to escape. The air itself transforms into a colossal hurricane, with winds far stronger than anything ever recorded, ripping apart everything above ground. Giant winds roar across the land, tearing apart cities, forests and mountainsides, leaving nothing untouched in their path. Planes in the sky would suddenly find the ground racing up to meet them, as the air they rely on for lift is swept away, sending them plummeting uncontrollably. Survival would depend on being deep underground or in a bunker strong enough to withstand a meteor strike. Only those hidden far below the surface might have a chance. In just a few seconds, most of what we know, our homes, our cities, even the landscapes we take for granted, would be obliterated, erased by the sheer force of inertia. The first moments after Earth stops spinning would be the most violent in human history, a cataclysm beyond anything humanity has ever witnessed or imagined. The oceans are even more dangerous than the air. Water, like everything else, wants to keep moving. When the planet stops, the oceans surge eastward, creating waves taller than skyscrapers. These tsunamis crash onto continents, sweeping away everything in their path. Coastlines would disappear under walls of water. The force of these moving seas would cause massive flooding, washing away towns and farmland. Entire islands might vanish beneath the waves. Even places far from the ocean would not be safe as rivers and lakes slosh violently. The movement of water would not stop after the first wave. The oceans would keep sloshing back and forth for days, causing more destruction. Ports, harbors, and ships would be torn apart. The world's biggest ships would become toys in a bathtub. After the chaos, the oceans would start to settle, but they would not settle where they started. When Earth spins, it bulges at the equator. The spin pushes water and even land outward, making the planet a little fatter in the middle. If the spin stops, this bulge slowly disappears. Water, no longer held at the equator, flows toward the poles. Huge areas near the equator would dry up. The Amazon and Congo basins, once green and wet, could turn into deserts. Meanwhile, new oceans form around the North and South poles. The world would have two giant polar seas and one supercontinent straddling the equator. Famous cities near the equator, like Singapore and Quito, would be far from the water. Cities near the poles, like Reykjavik and Ushuaia, might become new coastal hubs, if they survived the first waves. The new map of Earth would look strange. Places now underwater might rise up, while others would disappear forever. The planet would be unrecognizable. Our day and night come from Earth's spin. If the planet stops, one side faces the sun and the other faces away. This means one half of the world would have endless daylight, while the other would be stuck in darkness for months. On the day side, the sun would blaze overhead, temperatures would climb higher and higher, baking the land, crops would wither, lakes would dry up, and it would be nearly impossible to find shade. On the night side, the cold would grow deeper each day. Without sunlight, entire regions would freeze. Only at the edge between day and night, the twilight zone, would temperatures be bearable. People might try to live there, following the narrow line where it is not too hot or too cold. This endless day and night would make life very hard. Plants and animals would die. People would struggle to adapt to this new, strange world. Without spin, Earth's weather would go wild. Normally, the spin helps spread heat and air around the planet. Without it, the sun's heat would build up on the day side, while the night side freezes. This huge temperature difference would cause superstorms, giant winds and tornadoes that circle the planet. The air itself would become deadly. On the hot side, the heat would make it hard to breathe. On the cold side, the air would become heavier and harder to move. Dust storms, hurricanes and blizzards would be common. Breathing might be dangerous as dust and smoke fill the skies. Electricity would go out. Power plants would be destroyed by floods, storms, and earthquakes. Communication would break down. People would be cut off from each other, struggling to survive in small groups. Life would be a daily battle against the weather. Even basic things like clean water and air would be hard to find. Some people might think gravity would disappear if Earth stopped spinning, but gravity comes from the mass of the planet, not its spin. You would still be pulled toward the ground, though you might feel a little heavier at the equator and lighter at the poles. Earth's shape would slowly change. The equator would shrink and the poles would bulge with new oceans. Mountains might rise or fall as the crust shifts. Volcanoes and earthquakes would be common for many years. Could anyone survive? It would be very hard. Most food crops would die in the new climate. Animals would vanish. Without power or communication, people would have to start over, living off what they could find. Only those who got lucky, or prepared, might survive in underground shelters or safe zones. This is the ultimate disaster, but the Earth's mass, and its gravity, would remain. Life would go on, but in a very different world. Luckily, this is only a thought experiment. There is no real way for Earth to just stop spinning in an instant. The forces needed would destroy the planet itself. Scientists study these ideas to help us understand our world, and how lucky we are that things stay steady. Still, it is interesting to imagine. If you had to face a day like this, what would you do? Where would you go? Who would you help? Would you hide, or try to save others? Would you be ready for the most terrifying and strangest day in history? The next time you look at the stars, remember our spinning planet is carrying you safely through space, and that is something amazing.